Welcome to East Tennessee Pinball. Today I'm working on this Liberty Bell and had a problem with, well, I still have a problem. There's 4 drop targets on here. I guess one of them's down right there. 2 front and then 2 in the back. This front left one, that one right there, it was not scoring. It did register that it was down. It's got a different set of switches for them to realize they're down versus the one that register the scoring. But in any case, so let me kind of show you how they work first, and I'll show you what the problem was. I'm going to show you this other one just because it's easier to film. If I can get in there. Let me get these wires out of the way. So there's actually 3 sets of switches there. There's this upper set, middle set, and the bottom set. That bottom set, that closes when it's down, and that's used to basically for the game to know that it's down. So like if it needs to know that 2 of them are down or all 4 of them are down, it sends a voltage through all 4 of them, let's say. And if it can pass through all 4 of them, then those are all down and it'll reset them all. These top 2, basically, when the game is when it's up, this top one is open. Now, if I close it here, it scores, and then when it's down, it's going to score when I let it drop. If I get it to drop, then the bottom one's open. If I touch it, it scores again. So basically, the power comes in on this top switch, right, top wire. It goes through the switch, comes out on this orange, loops back around, and comes through the second switch. So those 2 switches are the top and the middle one are in series, and they both have to be closed at the same time for it to score. And that happens basically as it moves down in that moment that it drops. It's not really focusing very well here. Focusing on everything, but I want it to, there we go, put my hand here. Okay, as it drops, you see there, it just, as it drops, they both do that. Okay, so that's how it's supposed to work. So let's get back down here to the one that wasn't working. It's this one here. It's a little harder to see. Basically what's going on, so this is the top switch. Get my hand under there so I can, that's the top switch. That's the middle switch and the bottom switch. So this top switch, that red wire, same as this red wire up here we just looked at. That red wire actually had 2 wires going to it. That one that's there and this one that I have unsoldered from it. So this one that's unsoldered was suspicious because it's just hanging out of here, out of the loom. So if it was going to go to that switch right there, it would have, like all the rest of these, gone through this loom and be wrapped up in the cat gut and tied up. But it wasn't. It's just like hanging out here. Crazy. And that's not the way Williams or Bally or Gottlieb, they just didn't do things like this. They were very professional the way they wrap things up. So this hanging out was like a clue that maybe somebody had moved this at some point. Well, sure enough, I started yanking on these wires. Whoops, just pressed the wrong button there. This wire here, it's very hard to see this. It loops around. It's the same wire as the one that's already on there. It's basically a loop of wire. So the wire there with that finger there and this finger here, it goes down here through the loom and back up there. It's just tied onto itself on that switch. So there's no power going to it. So what I believe is going on, so you can see that well, maybe you can't see, it's kind of hard to see. This red and black wire, it goes into this loom, goes there, goes in, and goes to about there, and then it pulls back out here. But you can tell that it was headed this way, and look what happens if now this is going to be hard to do, because I have to get well, I'll just do it, I'll do it instead. I'll use a jumper. I'm going to put a jumper over here on this red and black one, and I'm just, the bottom one is closed. The top one's not. Well, yeah, I've got it in the middle position. So I can score with it because this is where that red one's supposed to be tied on right there. So anyway, this was a tricky one. When people move wires, you got to do a little sluicing, and the real clue here was the fact that this was hanging out loose. If it wasn't for me seeing that, it would have been even harder to figure out because, just look at all the freaking wires. I mean, you got to assume that most of them are going to be all in the right places. When they're not in the right place, it's like, it's a nightmare. But this one wasn't too bad because I had that clue. So I'm going to route this back into this bundle as best I can and tie it back on right here, and then this sucker's going to work. All right, so I got the game started up here. I'm going to see if they all score. It's all good. So that took care of that. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.